Hello, today I'm gonna show you some stuff you can do with Malzilla to find some information about when the code is obfuscated. Uh, let's open it. I'm gonna run Mozilla as administrator. It says it couldn't find in one DLL. Doesn't matter. We doesn't need for now. Uh, you're gonna see that there's some tabs each doing stuff. You can go through each of them. For now I'm gonna go for parts mostly related to obfuscation. Let's check. The first tab is download. There you can input the code in text, hex, and you can even pass the cookies and so far. And there are some buttons to send it to the decoder, the one we're gonna use, and the rest for now we doesn't need, but again you can go through the help to find out about them. For the decoder, this is the parts I'm gonna use for decoding the code in case it's obfuscated. For example, let's try one of the example. This is the simple one that is it has added some junk characters in the code in the string, and after that it split it with the junk parts and replace it with the space. After that it's gonna write it. It's a hello word, but between the characters it puts between every word is put x y a. Let's run it. After running, it's gonna show that it's hello. It's gonna print it hello world, so we can find out that this part of the code is what's in fact it is. This is one of the ways that malware developer use for changing the code by string functions that are available in a different language. Another things, let's see, is what we have in JavaScript is eval. Eval is for the expression evaluation, but we know that whatever is passed to eval is gonna execute it. Here it's passed the string is document dot write hello world. If we run it, it's gonna run it and it shows hello world, and it's gonna create a log. If we double click the log, it's gonna show us what was the eval output, what was there, what was passed to eval. It's said that what passed is document dot write hello world. The other part is misdecoder. Is decode different things. For example, it can decode the base 64. It can decode text to hex like hello. You can see it's right the hello. Sorry for the. It's double L, not doesn't matter. It's every character you pass is gonna change to hex. But what another thing is, let's say we have something in base 64. Let me find you something. It's something in base 64, and if I decode it, it's gonna say that it's document.write. So in case you find something that is suspicious for you, you can use this tool to find out. However, there are some is base 64 is very popular one. You can find some stuff in the online in the internet. It's used. It's gonna do XOR for you. These are some of the. It shows you that these are the things that mostly used in the obfuscation used by obfuscation tools to change the code in a way that is not easily readable. Another sample is sample 20-1. It's a JavaScript code. I am gonna copy it and paste it here in decoder. What I can do is hard to read. I can put format code to format the code in a way easily readable. It put some tab after each curly bracket, so you can find out these are each of them are one function. And the other thing, you see that the namings are interesting. All the names of the function start with V and a number, so it's very hard to memorize what it's doing, and it's very hard to read them. And even the name of the functions are some characters like F, G, D, H, and so far. So you see that how it's playing with the strings and the function's name. We can run the script. If we run, you see that there is a link for eval result. If we click on it, you see that it shows what is passed to eval is the name of the functions, and here is passed the variable. It includes some URL that if you go through the code you won't find these URLs, because you see that it used some functions for string concatenation and so on. So it's very hard to follow them to find out what it's read these strings, and large number of the methods, so it's very hard to find trace back to find this string. But if you use these tools like this, you can see that you can get the string passed to eval, and you see that there are some URLs related to attackers. Based on, if you Google, you find out they are a related type of attack. Another sample I want to show you is samples 20-2. Let me open with notepad.exe. Part of it is the HTML file, and the JavaScript part is part of this HTML. Most of them, as we know, that the JavaScript code comes with HTML files, Word or PDFs, and it's not coming by itself, or is part of a URL. If I copy this script and paste it in Malzilla, even if I delete these scripts because they are related to HTML, if I run it, you're gonna see that it won't execute it, because the part is get element by ID. It's related to something that is already exists in HTML. So not every JavaScript are executable by Malzilla. What we can do, we can debug the code by Internet Explorer or any other browsers. Let me see. I have it here. What you can do, let me close it. If you open an Internet Explorer, I'm gonna run it as administrator, and open the file, the sample, which is 20-2. Okay, allow block Okay, it's gonna render it, and it's somehow we can say it's run it, and what we see in the Internet Explorer, the execution of the code, HTML code. There is a tool that is F12 developers tool, or it can be if you click F12, it's gonna open for you the developers tool. It's part of any almost all the as I know, all of the browsers have these developing tools, and you can it's gonna debug. You can use that to debug your code. What I can do, I can like programming that we can put some breakpoint to in the different parts of the code. We can put some let's say breakpoint and execute the code. I'm gonna what you can do for executing the code, you can press F12 F9 F10 is for stepping into is F11, stepping over is F10, and I'm gonna click F5 to run the code till breakpoint. Sorry. I don't know, for some reason it's got stuck, so I opened it again. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna debug till reaching this breakpoint. Let's, after clicking the run, let's step over. Oh, sorry, okay, sorry, I stepped into, I'm gonna step over till reaching this part. Okay, we are here now. What we can do in watch, we can add any variable that we want. For example, the variable is str. I'm gonna add it, and after stepping over that, it's gonna show me what's str, and after that again a step over, it's gonna show me what's the value of rep is hello world. So here when it's gonna run document.write, we know that it's gonna write hello world. This is the way you can do you can debug the code, even if there is some elements that are getting from the HTML. If there was any let's say like a text box that it needs users input, it's gonna go back to the HTML. You can type your input and continue with debugging.